Hey there, magical people. I'm Lee, this is Bo, and we're going to talk to you today a little bit about some of the theories that are going around about the plotline, storyline of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So, here we go. Alright, so Bo's going to hang out with us this video. Right there. He wanted to be in the last video, but I told him he couldn't be, so he pouted the whole time. So this time, you'll get the Bo reaction, hopefully if he stays there, the whole video. So, there's a lot of stuff in Harry Potter Wizards Unite that has come out thus far. And I think the biggest thing is that there's a lot of elements from Pokemon Go that have been incorporated into this game. It is made by the same company, so there are a lot of basic elements, sort of. However, this game has so much more, like, beef to it. There's not only the strategy part of the game, which there is in Pokemon Go, but there's also a storyline. There's a mystery to be solved in Wizards Unite. So that is super exciting because it's just adding this whole new level to the role-playing element. So we're getting bits and pieces of the storyline of the mystery that we're going to be unveiling as we play the game through the trailers and through some of the players that have already started playing through the beta release in New Zealand and Australia. So this video, I'm just going to focus on the elements of the storyline and the characters that we know are going to be appearing in this game thus far. In future videos, I'm going to focus on the mechanics of the gameplay, the strategy, all of that, and I'll probably continue to expand on the storyline, but bare bones, there's a lot that is happening right now with people trying to decode messages. So thus far, I'm going to share what we have. Let me take it back to the very beginning first, though, because I actually had some friends when I first posted the other video that didn't know anything about this game. So I'm going to read just like a little paragraph from the Wizards Unite website, which I'll link in the description, and it's basically explaining the premise of this game. So it says, a calamity has befallen the wizarding world, causing artifacts, creatures, people, and even memories, so we're talking past and present here, people, to mysteriously appear in the Muggle world. Witches and wizards from across the globe must come together to solve the mystery of the calamity, overcome the confounding chaotic magic that surrounds these foundables, and return them to their rightful place, keeping them safe from Muggle eyes. Your journey begins as a new recruit of the Statute of Secrecy Task Force, established by the Ministry of Magic and the International Confederation of Wizards for the purpose of investigating and containing the calamity. So essentially our role in this entire adventure is that we are part of the Statute of Secrecy Task Force, and our job is to go out and find these calamities and investigate them and contain them. Pretty fun, right? I'm gonna take it way back to the first trailer of this game because I recently found an article that was written by Boone Slevin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, in collaboration with YouTubers Pokemon and Pokefodder, that mentions a really interesting tidbit that I totally would never have found originally when I first watched this trailer. But since the most recent trailer has so many frame-by-frame things that you're just like scavenging for clues throughout the entire video. So I'll talk about that a little later. But this first video had it's a really subtle clue that appears on the dumpster that's in the background. So there's this girl that apparates out of nowhere with the snitch, and in the background there's this green dumpster, and written on that dumpster The people that wrote this article, Boomslevin, Pokefodder, and Pokemon, all believed it originally to say F star or asterisk N PP. Now, I looked really close at this video, and what I found it to say is find PP, which starts to make a lot more sense because one of the main characters we've come to realize in this game is named Penelope Paget or Penelope Foley. I believe maybe her maiden name was Paget. So find PP very well could be a nod to finding Penelope Paget, who is missing at the start of this game for us. She is one of what is called the London Five, who are 5 individuals, 4 Ministry of Magic workers, and a Daily Prophet reporter, who mysteriously disappeared after, an incident of some sort. There's belief, there's speculation within the Ministry that Penelope's husband, whose name is Grimm Foley, is the cause of the calamity. So this calamity is causing all of these traces to pop up, and that's like the Pokemon Go element of the game, is like these traces and containing them and finding them, and there's a registry that serves as sort of our Pokedex, so you want to get all of the registry entries. So that's the Pokemon Go sort of part of the game, but the mystery part of it is these pieces that we are finding. There are clues hidden throughout the game, throughout different gameplay elements, that will give us more insight as to what's going on here. So, yeah, so if you did get a chance, I'll link the newest trailer, one of the newest trailers, the biggest trailer that we've gotten, that combines a whole bunch of elements and a whole bunch of secret elements in it. I'll link that in the description also. But there is a screenshot that can be pulled from it that has a lot of information. There's 7 documents on one page, and it's got a whole bunch of information about this backstory that I was just telling you about. So, the first article in the top right corner is about the London Five, and it essentially says that the London Five are a group of people that were missing, and that the investigation has been called off, much to the chagrin, essentially, of the families. The second article is one that's of great speculation currently within our Wizarding World community. And it's an entrance log to the Love Room. We saw the Love Room in Book 5 when our main characters all took an excursion, or took a field trip to the Department of Mysteries in the Ministry of Magic. And the Love Room is one of the rooms that they were unable to enter, and it's said to contain some of the most powerful or mysterious magic in the entire department, which is saying something, because, they have time turners in one of the rooms, so just saying. So, there is a note underneath this Love Room entrance log that says, Grimm's entering the Love Room at odd times. But he's not the only one I noticed that enters the Love Room at an odd time, or for a weird amount of time. Am I boring you, Bo? Are you sleeping? I did notice that Gareth Greengrass entered the room from 22:06, so that's what, 10:06 to 11 o'clock sharp. And then Grimm Foley comes in right at 11:15. It seemed a little fishy that they just coincidentally seemed to miss each other at that time. Just saying. Then there's a couple of others. Other than that, Grimm Foley at the end sort of seems to enter around the same time, give or take an hour, for roughly about the same amount of time. But there are also a couple of other names that seem a little bit different on this list. So there is Regina Roll, who is in there from 8:30 to 8:37, which is not a whole lot of time. Honestly, I think that's probably the shortest amount of time on the entire list, so it seemed a little strange that she was only in there for 7 minutes. And then there's Gareth Greengrass, like I said, who is in there right before Grimm Foley, unless it was on a different day, we don't know. And then there's Albert Sallow, I think that's probably how you say it, from 9:15 to 10 o'clock. So we don't know anything about him yet. But Gareth Greengrass, from, I believe it's some of the beta players, have said that Gareth Greengrass was on the committee or the council that was tasked to investigate the disappearance of the London Five. That was shut down by the ministry because it was too costly, I suppose, apparently. And he had promised prior to that, he had promised Grimm to do everything within his power to bring his wife back. And then promptly thereafter, the council was shut down. So it seems a little weird that, like, he's in there right before Grimm. Maybe he was helping him out. Who knows? Another connection, really quick, that I've noticed with Grimm is his name. The Grimm. Does anyone else notice a connection to the actual Harry Potter series?
You have the Grimm?
The Grin? What's the Grin?
Not the Grin, you idiot, the Grimm. Taking form of a giant spectral dog. It's among the darkest omens in our world. It's an omen of death.
So, the Grimm comes into play in the books and movies in the third movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban, because Harry has this run-in with this ominous Grimm. Trelawney reads his tea leaves and tells him that she sees the Grimm in his tea leaves, and then that means that he's going to encounter death, which, to be fair, she's not wrong, because, I mean, throughout the series he kind of encounters a lot of death. Whatever. So, just saying, Grimm Foley, I feel like there are no coincidences. Anyway, the next document, besides the Love Room entrance log, is this, I believe it's in Portuguese. It's a notice, a memo, and it says, hang on, I gotta scroll. It says, one question, why was the British ministry chosen as the World Calamity Center? There wouldn't even be a calamity if it wasn't for the inconsequential actions of one of your employees. So the British Ministry of Magic is the world center for the cleanup of this calamity. Which I guess they kind of have a right to be salty, because why are they when they're the ones that caused it? I guess you gotta clean up your own messes or something. Anyway, moving on. So there's a witness transcript from Mathilda Grimblehawk. So Mathilda co-signs a muggle repellent spell that's placed on each of the trailers to repel muggles, so that they are unable to see the trailers, supposedly. So Mathilda supposedly co-signs a bunch of those with another person named Constance Pickering, who is interviewing Mathilda in this transcript. I was recently watching Zoe from Snitches and Witches YouTube channel. I was watching her analysis of this breakdown, and she showed a picture of Mathilda Grimblehawk that jogged a memory of mine, because I remembered playing a game from 2016 called Fantastic Beasts Cases from the Wizarding World, and that was a screenshot from that game that she posted. So it's made me start thinking, oh my god, what if these two games are connected? Because I definitely remembered Mathilda Grimblehawk being the ministry worker that is tasked with being our partner in the cases game. So I started to go through, and I will at some point do a video of like a comprehensive video of all of the characters crossovers. I'm just going to do a couple today. So one of them is Mathilda. In the cases game, Mathilda is actually from the Beast Division, which is related to the regulation and control or something of magical creatures. It's the magical creatures division of the Ministry of Magic. So it's sort of interesting that they're pulling people, it seems, from different departments, because another poster, or another, I believe it's a trailer, another trailer is signed off on by Myra Curio, and she is also a character from the Fantastic Beasts game, from the Cases game, and her specialty in the game is she is from the Muggle Liaison Office. So that would make sense that she would be in this game in a position within the ministry that deals with this calamity, because she's constantly in her department cleaning up Muggle messes with Muggles anyway. So it would make sense for them to be sort of a team, because Mathilda, I guess, could be dealing with the magical creatures, and Myra could be dealing with certain correspondences with Muggles, or something to that effect. So you can read that transcript. I'll post the picture of the transcript somewhere. It's probably been up on your screen for a while if I did my editing right. So yeah, and then there's a memo from Hermione, who is the current minister for magic. Words today. There is a memo from Hermione, who is the current Minister for Magic, and she is in this memo naming Constance Pickering the head of this new department called the Statute of Secrecy Task Force. So that's what we are getting to join, is the Statute of Secrecy Task Force, the SOS. So that's pretty cool. So that means that Constance Pickering is now the head of this department. I'm assuming that maybe Mathilda would be working under her, and Myra as well, or they're all co-heading a department. I don't know, whatever, they're all in this department together, I would assume. Then there is a letter from the Japanese Ministry of Magic, and roughly translated it says, "I will inform you of the fact that Mr. Grimm Foley of your ministry visited our ministry yesterday afternoon. There was something suspicious about his behavior. He required us to show him the rare documents. We deservedly refused it because he didn't respect regular procedures. We take cognizance that his act is inappropriate for an official of the Ministry of Magic. We, the ministry, would like to ask Mr. Foley for a detailed and polite explanation." So, Mr. Foley, Grimm Foley? Yeah, he took off and he went to the Japanese Ministry of Magic. For why? We don't know. Seems sort of interesting. I also wonder if maybe this wasn't Mr. Grimm Foley, and maybe it was somebody polyjuiced as him, or maybe it was, I mean, polyjuice plays a huge role in this series as it is, let's be real. Or maybe it was, I mean, maybe they didn't know who he was, and maybe someone was just disguised as him or said they were him and they weren't. Because it seems kind of strange that he would just pop over to the Japanese ministry. Especially given this last letter, which seems to indicate that he's going to, I believe it's pronounced Prague. So it says, "Maybe Prague will give me the answers I seek." Will give me the answer I seek. Also in this letter, so let me read this letter really quick. It says, "Everyone keeps telling me to let this go, to focus on the here and now, but I will never let it go. I will find you. Oh Nell, every conversation we've ever had, everything you couldn't say, unforgivable, maybe, but I have hope. Maybe Prague will give me the answer I seek. Then there's also something that's sort of, it looks like it was like an indentation into the paper, like he wrote on a paper over it, and then they colored over it to sort of try to make out the message. It's not really completely legible. It looks like it says they love most and maybe least in the something, maybe. But it also, I don't know, there's like a lot of extra letters almost, it looks like, and I feel like it's definitely the same handwriting as the handwriting that was on the dumpster also, and on the log, I believe. So, who knows? A lot of speculation, But one thing that I sort of light bulbed in my head when I was reading this letter is that he says, every conversation we've ever had, everything you couldn't say, unforgivable maybe. So from an internal memo that one of the beta players posted, we found out that Penelope supposedly came from a family of Death Eaters or a family of Voldemort supporters. So my question is, was she either an unspeakable at the Ministry for Magic, which is an unspeakable was a position within the Department of Mysteries. Nobody knew what they did. Basically the job description was that they couldn't talk about their job, or the job requirement was they couldn't talk about their job. So I'm wondering if maybe she was an unspeakable in the Department of Mysteries, and maybe something went awry in an experimentation, with, you know, the other Ministry of Magic workers, and maybe there was a Daily Prophet reporter there to report on the incident, on what was going to happen, and then just everything went to heck. Who knows? I mean, there's so many things that could be going on here. The other thing that I sort of noticed also, though, was the word unforgivable, and that automatically jogs a memory of the unforgivable curses, the 3 unforgivable curses. One of which is Avada Kedavra, the killing curse, which is what created the lightning bolt scar on Harry's head. Now, if you go back to this first trailer that dropped for the game, in addition to the Find Penelope on the dumpster, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, there's what appears to be, I believe, maybe a parking ticket, like a ticket taker sort of thing for the parking garage, or I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a ticket taker. And etched onto the side of the ticket taker is a lightning bolt, similar to the one that is on the scar that's on Harry's head, similar to the spell trace that you need to do, the wand movement that you need to do in order to cast the Avada Kedavra curse. So, I'm wondering, is Voldemort gonna come back in this game? Or is one of his supporters maybe gonna, like, become him? Or carry on his legacy? Or something to that effect. But it's quite possible he could come back during this game, because this calamity has opened the window to the past, and there are memories from the series that are appearing in our present day timeline. So there's like some time travel thing going on. There's something that happened with the love room. There's a lot of little pieces that we gotta sort of put together. So there's so much information. I had so much trouble coming up with what to focus on for this one video, because there's just so many tie-ins to different parts of different things. And there's so much speculation going around about what different things could mean. It's like making my head hurt. So I'm gonna go draw out like a visual map for myself, because that's what I do. If you talk to anyone who knows me, I do the thing with the big whiteboard and I draw things out, and I'm a big nerd like that, so, you know. But in the meantime, what do you think about all this? Do you believe in any of the things that I was just talking about? Are you on board? Are you thinking that I'm crazy? What's going on? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, see ya!